Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. The past couple months have just literally been me trying to figure out what my life is, so I'm not going to make any promises and then bail on them again. I'm just not going to make any promises, but I promise that I am trying. Makes a promise after says she's not going to. That's cute. Anyway, we're doing my June TBR. I need more structure in my life. I've been saying that for months and actively not doing it. I hate that's like my biggest pet peeve about myself. I also know it to be true about myself, so I'm sorry. Take me or leave me with all of my flaws. This is one of them. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not very diverse. Don't love that, but these are all of the books that I'm currently in the middle of, so I'm not really adding anything on. I'm just sticking with what I've got because I haven't, like, my channel is called In My Reading Era, but I have not been in my reading era for quite a while. 100% subject to change with my mood, as is always the case for all of my TBRs. Have some audiobooks, have some ebooks, a few physical reads, and then at the end we'll do hopefuls, which is not really a thing I've ever done before, but I'm gonna try it this month. We'll see how it goes. Let me know if you like it. If you don't, I'll scrap it. So, physical books that I'm currently reading, because surprisingly I have been currently reading almost every single day, just not for a long period of time to the point where I'm making tons of progress very quickly. Which, like, the speed that you read at is, for the millionth time, not what makes you a reader. It's your love of books and reading and the passion behind it. It's just like I'm used to reading things much quicker, so for me it feels weird. Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. I read the first book in January and really loved it. It's one of my favorite books, if not my favorite book that I've read this year. So I've been meaning to pick up the sequel for a while, and I finally did it like a week ago, and I am 186 pages in and really enjoying it. This one is following Declan and Iris. Iris is Declan's assistant, and Declan is in line to be the CEO of Dreamland, which is this world's like Disney. He is the oldest brother of all of the Kane brothers, and his, like, in book one we find out that after their grandfather passed away, he left them all letters with stipulations to their inheritance in his will, and if they did not complete them within the time frame allotted, their inheritances would go to their father, with whom none of them really have a great relationship with, but Declan's is especially strained. His, like, letter from his grandfather said that he needs to marry and have a child within like 3 years. Iris is bound to him via a contract to be his bride and the mother of his child, because he keeps scaring away all of the other brides that she tries to hire for him. Iris volunteers for the job, and they find out that there's something maybe potentially palpable between the two of them, and it's wonderful. I really like it. Declan is meaner than Rowan. Like, it was Grumpy Sunshine before, and I wouldn't say that Iris is like the most sunshiny, but compared to Declan, she definitely is. But Declan is even meaner than Rowan was in the first book, so if you thought he was off-putting, wait till you meet Declan, but I am here for it. I don't know what that says about me, and I don't really want to delve into it too much. Then I'm also currently reading Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. I am 210 pages into this. This one is, it's the second book in Magnolia Parks, and this one we are following Daisy Hates, Julian, and Christian. Julian is Daisy's older brother, and Julian and Daisy are in the mafia. Specifically Julian, he's like the head honcho of this mafia. He took over when his father passed away, aka was murdered. Daisy is his sister. She tries to keep him and all of his boys in line to the best of her ability, and Christian is also involved in the mafia. They're not like rival mafias, but I don't think that they work together. I think that they do different things. So Julian does more like art thievery and such, and I don't know what Christian does. I know that he maybe owns clubs with his brother or something, and it's a laundering scheme for something. I don't know. But the relationship in here is between Daisy and Christian. There's a little bit of a love triangle with a guy named Romeo, who she has like a childhood friends to lovers situation with. And something that's really cool about this is that it's like annotated at the bottom, like there are annotations throughout it. I just think it's really cool. But yeah, this one is not spicy if you're looking for that, but it is a toxic romance, and I love it. The one book that I'm not currently reading that I'd like to read in the month of June to fulfill my goal of reading one poetry book every single month is Chameleon by Billy Chapata. This is the only book of his I own that I have not read yet. Velvet Dragonflies and Flowers on the Moon, and I loved both of them a lot. The poem on the back says, "I am rough around the edges. I am imperfect in my thought process. I am a work in progress, but I am worthy of love and all its sweetness." Moving on to ebooks and audiobooks. I'm currently listening to the 7th or 8th book in the Wayward Children series, Lost in the Moment and Found by Shauna McGuire. Really enjoying this. It is hard to read. Content warning in there for grooming. Nothing is on page or happens, and it's in the author's note at the very beginning that before anything happens, Ancy or Antoinette, our main character, runs, but it's still there. Like, you can still feel the tension and the buildup of what this horrible human being is trying to do to his stepdaughter, and it's disgusting. So if that's something you're uncomfortable with, be forewarned, it is there, but like I said, she runs. But this one, we are following Antoinette, who flees her home. Her mom marries this new man. She's very uncomfortable around him for obvious reasons, and she ends up in this weird world where she doesn't really know what's going on, as is the case for a lot of these books. I am like a third of the way through it, I want to say. I've been in a weird audiobook mood, like I can't tell what I want to listen to, so I did set it down, but I do want to finish it because these audiobooks aren't very long. Like, I just need to finish it. I'm halfway through so many short audiobooks. I could realistically finish like 3 in a day. So why I don't do that, I don't know. But anyway, I love this series. It's one of my favorite series of all time. I have a tattoo dedicated to it. It says "Be Sure," which if you know the series, then you know. But yeah, it's one of my favorite series of all time, and I usually read these books in January when the books come out, but I didn't read this one in January when it came out because I'm a loser. But yeah, that is one of the audiobooks that I'm currently listening to. I'm also listening to Call Me Maybe by Cara Barristone. I read Love at First Psych as just like a random Audible thing, and I actually really loved it. I think I gave it 5 stars. It was so good. It's a full cast, like full production. It's such a well-produced audiobook that I decided to give another one of hers a try. This one is about Cal, and I don't remember her name. He's like on standby as a tech operator for this website, this like build your own website company, kind of like Wix, and the female main character is trying to launch her website so that she can launch her business, which is like gift in a box type of thing. And she's struggling with it because her computer hasn't been updated in such a long time, so her software is basically ancient, and he's trying to get it up and running. They stay on the phone for like 8 hours or something like that, and it's their romance. Not loving this as much as Love at First Psych, but it is still a very well-produced audiobook, and I'm halfway through the freaking thing at this point, so I may as well just finish it. Then the last audiobook that I am currently in the middle of is In the Lives of Puppets, or it's by TJ Klune. That is the author of The House in the Cerulean Sea. I loved The House in the Cerulean Sea. I really loved Under the Whispering Door. So when I saw that this one was out, I really wanted to read it. It's like a retelling of The Wizard of Oz and Pinocchio kind of combined with robots and set in the future. It also kind of gives me like Ready Player One vibes, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm not very far in, but I love all of TJ Klune's other books that I've read, his other 2 books that I've read, so I have high hopes for this one as well. All of the ratings and reviews have nothing but high praise. So moving on to ebooks, we have The Risk, which is the first book in the Mind F series by St. Abbey. This is essentially like a serial killer FBI agent romance. This woman is plucking off men one by one. I don't fully know what her motive or ambition is, but we know that she has a very personal vendetta, and then this FBI agent is on her case, and they meet, and she knows what his role is, but he does not know like who she is or her true identity or anything like that, but they end up falling in love. There are like 5 books in this series. They're all super short. I'm like halfway through book 1. This has been on my Kindle, I think, since I got Kindle Unlimited 2 years ago, so I am trying to like read through the books that I have. I got distracted. There are ants in this room, and I don't know why, because I don't bring food in here. I think I was done talking about that, sorry. I got completely sidetracked. Moving on to the last ebook that I want to finish. We have book 3 in the Misfortune series, which is Swamp Sniper by Jana DeLeon. Like I said, book 3 in the Misfortune series. This is a cozy mystery series set in sinful Louisiana. We are following Fortune, who is a CIA agent that has a bounty on her head, so she is kind of hidden away in sinful Louisiana. And while she's there, she makes the acquaintance of these 2 older ladies, and they just get into a bunch of mischief, and it is incredible. It's so funny. It's an excellent cozy mystery series. I picked it up last night just randomly on a whim. I've been meaning to read it for such a long time. I have like the first 10 books in the series or something like that. So I've been meaning to read it for a really long time. But I picked it up last night and I had been on page like 6, and now I'm a quarter of the way through it. So hopefully this will be a quick, easy read. I'm in the mood for like thrillers and murder mysteries and stuff. So I'm not putting too many hopefuls on this list, but don't be surprised if there's like a bunch of thrillers in my June wrap up. I literally just said that I wasn't adding too many hopefuls, and then I added 3 more. The first one is an audiobook though, so I feel like that is better in terms of achievability. Is that a word? I don't know. We're gonna make it one for right now. Hookshot by Kennedy Ryan, because I renewed my Audible subscription finally, and I used one of my credits on this because how could I not? I need to finish the series. In this one, we are following Lotus, who we met in book 1, and Keenan. We kind of saw them flirting a little bit in the first book, which is Long Shot. These books are NBA romances and they're incredible. Keenan seems like such a sweetheart, and Lotus seems like she's just emitting bad bitch energy wherever she goes. So I cannot wait to read this one. Kennedy Ryan's books do tend to deal with like some heavier topics, so definitely look up content warnings, especially for book 1. It's way darker than I ever could have imagined and very, very graphic. So like I said, look up content warnings. Oh my god, that reminds me, another audiobook that I'm currently listening to and I completely forgot to tell you, Coming Home by Kennedy Ryan. This is like a novella, I would say, about these 2 journalists who went to college together, were separated for 20 years because the guy went to Paris for his senior year and like the timing just never worked out. They're going to their colleges, their alma maters, homecoming because his daughter goes there, and after 20 years they're finally reconnecting. I'm like halfway through this audiobook. I started it today, and first of all, audiobook is 10 out of 10, would recommend. But Kennedy Ryan just knows how to write a romance and I love it. So it's called Coming Home. Did I say that or did I say Homecoming? I don't know. Yes, we're following Torre and Naomi and I just love it. I love it so much. But yeah, this one is a hopeful. Anyway, forgot to wrap that up. Another one that I don't physically have because it comes out on Tuesday, but I will 100% be reading this month if it's the last thing I do. Lord Olympus Volume 4 by Rachel Smith. It comes out this month. I am so excited. There are tears in my eyes right now. I'm so excited. I might do a whole reading vlog where I like reread the first 3 books and then read the 4th one because I'm so excited to read it. The playlist, I'll link it down below. It's a Spotify playlist. It's 12 out of 10. And the listening, like the reading experience while listening to that, if you can listen to music while you read books, whoever made that playlist, I think it was Rachel, she needs a pay raise. I'll be reading that when it comes out. The other books that I would really like to read, Blue Flag volumes 6 and 7, so that I can finally freaking finish these. I haven't read them in over a year because volume 5 was a little bit disappointing to me, but it's about a friend group where there's like a love square going on. It's a lot, but it's so beautiful, and the first 4 volumes have my whole entire heart. So I'm hoping that volume 5 was kind of just a fluke and that these ones are better. The 2 hopefuls that I originally put on my list, we have Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I don't know, I thought about reading it the other day, and so when I was putting my like TBR together, I was like, why not throw this on there as something to read potentially. It says, she's addicted to sex, he's addicted to booze. The only way out is rock bottom. So many people are obsessed with this series. I also think there might be like mafia stuff going on in it in like book 3 or something, but I don't fully know, to be honest with you. So I want to read and find out for myself. I also just think it would be fun to do like a mafia romance recommendations video, but I need to read more mafia romance in order to make that recommendations video, because I love mafia romance and I feel like it's a very niche thing, but there's fairly large niche, if that makes any sense, both in the books that are out there and the people who enjoy said books. Speaking of mafia romance, we have The Heir by Sophie Lark. I'm still like 30% of the way through. I haven't made any progress since freaking like March or April or whatever. But this one, if you haven't heard me talk about it before, they're at a mafia boarding school in like the middle of nowhere. It's kind of like a castle where it teaches you how to be a specific role within the mafia and your family. So we have the heirs, the enforcers, the accountants, and the spies. And our two main characters, Anna and Leo, are both heirs. We have 3 perspectives in here. We have Anna, Leo, and Dean. Childhood, friends to lovers trope. And they were raised in the mafia and they're going to a mafia boarding school. Like, it's just so freaking cool. Plus, I started the prequel series to that at like this time last year, so it's really calling my name to finish that up. Like, I know it's technically a reading book, but I haven't read it in so long that it feels more like hopeful. Plus it's like 500 pages. I talked a lot. This was not supposed to be 30 minutes of footage, but here we are. So sorry. Thank you if you've stuck around. I know I'm gonna edit it way down, but like, still, I talked a lot. Like I said, I don't want to make any promises about content coming soon, but I do want to make content. So I'm about to go sit down right now, fill out my whole calendar for June, brainstorm content. Please, 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 if you could do me a huge favor and leave me a comment down below as to what you like to see, if I've done it before, if I haven't done it before, whatever it is, if it's something you're loving right now. It literally could be a weekly reading vlog, wrap-ups, whatever. Just give me ideas, because mentally, I'm struggling, like in every area, but specifically creatively. So if you could help me out, I would appreciate that. I love you all so much. Thank you guys for being patient with me. My goal for the month of June is to be consistent on this channel and my other channel. We'll see if I can make that happen. And I don't know what consistency looks like for me. If that's once a week, twice a week, once every 10 days. My camera cuts me off when I talk for 30 minutes in a row, so it cut me off. But my goal is to find a new normal and consistency with my life, but also with this, so that I can have a balance, because this makes me so happy and I've been neglecting it for a really long time and I don't like it. It doesn't make me feel good. So I'm gonna post and edit when I have time, but I'm going to attempt to make the time more often. Like I said, no promises to be made, because I always seem to flounder on them and that makes me feel worse. But I do want you guys to know that I'm trying and that I care, because I do, and I don't want you to think that I've ever forgotten about you or that this doesn't mean anything to me, because that could not be further from the truth. And I'm gonna get emotional if I keep talking about it. So I'm gonna stop. I love you all so much. Thank you all for bearing with me. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you're doing well, reading, mentally, and otherwise, as always. And I really hope to see you all in my next video very, very soon. Bye, guys.